Good morning and welcome to Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network 2S television. As always, it's a pleasure to have you and to have Adebayo Fajimi join us. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very fine.
How's everything?
Everything is fine.
Good. All right, as we all know, Nigeria Now is a show where we'll bring you the top stories from the national dailies each day. And today, we have a couple of newspapers this morning. We begin from the very top. That's the Daily Trust newspaper. Federal government raises 2022 budget estimate to 16.45 trillion naira. And just besides that, Igbo in diaspora, not IPOB, behind sit-at-home order. That's coming from Southeast governors, and that can be found on page 12. The banner headline there is corruption leaks, pressure mounts on Buhari to probe Bagudu, Obi, others. We have four others. The first, CSO lawyers demand special panel. Reach out to EFCC Justice Ministry coming from the presidency. We're studying report. That's the ICPC, CCB, EFCC silent. Law should take its course. That's coming from APC, PDP mom. And that can be found on page 5. Just besides the picture of the day there, you see Anambra governorship. INEC defies IPOB, insists on November 6th election. And that's on page 31. Senate clears EFCC nominee who started school 1 year before birth. And then B.Ed students in public varsities to get 75,000 naira per semester. And that was on page 4. And the last story right there is 30 killed as Ansari terrorist bandits clash in Kaduna. And that was on page 6. But let's quickly talk about the banner headline that has corruption leaks, pressure mount on Buhari to probe Bagudu, Obi, others. Just about 2 to 3 days ago, we've had so many news, so many controversies on this issue alone. On the list that was released and, inducting Bagudu and Peter Obi. What is your take on all of that's been happening?
I would like to start with what late Professor Chino Achebe said in his book, The Trouble with Nigeria. There he said, corruption to Nigerians is what yam means to goats. So corruption is something we cannot do without, especially in leadership. And, it is so potent or so attractive such that, it is a means to solve personal problem, either for family, either for region, for self, interest. Do you understand? So, it is not surprising, but, the shocking aspect is even most of the leaders, especially Peter Obi, from that, former governor of Anambra, Peter Obi, showing up in that paper, and we know what it stands for, what it talks about, governance, quality of
credibility
leadership
and accountability.
And all of that. But it's quite unfortunate. I read part of the paper, and what I read, is shocking. So, this should not just go, and we should just bury it like that. So just like civil society organizations, lawyers, and all other people have been calling, on President Muhammadu Buhari not to just let this go, even though we know that, even in the administration, so corruption is still going on massively. But it should do, just like he says that he doesn't want to live as a failure. So he should prove himself as a man of integrity to ensure that this thing, they get to the root of the matter, and if at the end of the day, they are guilty, of course they should face the consequence. And until, as a nation, we try to ensure that whatever wrong thing that you do, regardless of your status, regardless of political affiliation, you face the consequence. Until we get to that stage, we'll never, develop as a nation.
There's one thing that Nigerians have heard some people say concerning this issue, and people are talking about the number. Like, we can't just have just the people that we saw, that there are many others, because corruption, according to just what you said, is something that has now been seen as a norm in the leadership system of the country. So what do you think that there's some sort of manipulation in getting names on all of this in an international level, such as the ICJ?
Of course there is, and exactly that is what we have seen. There is.
All right. Let's move over to the Business Day newspaper. The banner headline there is lack of central database puts Nigeria on UK's vaccine blacklist. Federal government says UK given approval in faces. And that's talking about COVID-19. And besides that, extra allocation to INEC. Others see Buhari raise 2022 budget. That can be found on page 2 of the Business Day newspaper. And those underneath that, we see NGX Group eyes 32.62 billion naira from listing 1.9 billion naira shares. Can be found on page 2 as well. And then federal government infrastructure spend in 6 years yields 13,000 kilometers of roads, and that's coming from Fashola. And then move over to the Daily Times newspaper from the very top. Osinbajo, that's the Vice President of Nigeria, is saying federal government to move teachers' retirement age to 65. And the rider is to pay undergraduates studying education 75,000 naira per semester. Before we talk about the banner headline, we see the story on education, paying undergraduates studying education in universities, 75,000 naira per semester. Is also the headline on the Daily Trust newspaper from the right. Besides the picture of the day, we see Bachelor of Education student to public universities to get 75,000 naira per semester. So now we are seeing this news, before now there's been a lot of talks about education sector, how we need to revamp it, how we need to boost it and everything. Do you think this is a step in the right direction?
I'm not going to subscribe to that approach by the government.
Okay.
Because if you say you want to encourage, education, well, it's something we need to encourage, but at the same time it comes, with choice. So if you are trying to motivate, undergraduates studying education in the universities, so I feel critically look at the condition of the teachers who will ensure that, these people, are able to fulfill their dreams. So if you are encouraging them, giving them 75,000, as bursary, what happens to their teachers? And this is a nation whereby you hardly will you say a year that the teachers, the lecturers, the hustle will not go on strike on one issue or the other. So if on their home side they think it's best way to go, I'm not totally condemning this, but they must always take critical look at the condition of the lecturers to ensure that these people are doing their job happily. Those who have family are able to perform their roles at home, and they are doing their job. But if the students are happy and the teachers are not happy, so what's going to be the result? The students, as we have students because there is a teacher, and there are teachers because there are students. So they must not just leave one side and neglect the other side. So whatever they need to do to ensure that what's up, a couple of weeks ago we have seen the union, telling government and telling parents that, see, if anything happens, hold government responsible. We are not responsible because government are not taking care of us. So it is, somehow good, but they must at the same time take proper and adequate care of the teachers who will ensure that, whatever aim or goal that these people want to achieve, they will help them to achieve.
All right. The banner headline on the Daily Times newspaper is Southeast governors move to end IPOB sit-at-home order, condemn spate of killings in region, and then say Ebube Agu regional security outfit to take root before end of 2021. All of this story can be found on the Daily Times newspaper. And then we've seen a story underneath everything there. That's on the picture of the day there. We see Buhari present 2022 budget to National Assembly tomorrow. That's the Thursday. And then our Blueprint newspaper writes here, the banner headline is 2023 presidency, PDP under pressure to reverse governor's zoning arrangement. Three riders, the first leaders fought Ugwuanyi committee proposal to stop the North, finger South governor of bullying, financial inducement of committee members, and reverse decision or lose Northern vote, youth wing want. We have a couple of other stories right there talking about South governors, Northern governors, and it can be found on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And the last newspaper this morning is Nigerian News Direct. Again, talking about education. Reposition in education, federal government introduces bursary, approves 75,000 naira stipend for undergraduate to raise teachers' retirement age to 65 years, 6 automatic employment for education students. And then a couple of other stories right there. Buhari to present 2022 budget on Thursday. And then we see gas shortage, Nigerians turn to charcoal for cooking, and other stories right there on the Nigerian News Direct. But don't forget, you can always stay updated on our website. That is www.tostvnetwork.com. TOSTV.com. And of course, get updates and follow us across all our social media platforms at TOSTV Network. And again, like and subscribe to our YouTube page so you do not miss out on everything we've packaged for you, for your viewing and listening pleasure. Again, thank you for joining us this morning. I am Merciful Ajinomo. See you tomorrow.